Hey, you're watching Half Asian Tarot Queen. I'm Elisa, here to do another reading. Oh my gosh. So we got the Wheel of Fortune and Chariot in the split. So that's pretty huge. Like obviously there's a huge shift that's in process. It's karmic. It's in the upright. This is good. It's a good positive change. And this is like taking the reins, seizing the reins. But this is also like the larger picture of this is like when you are seizing the reins, it's like you've come into alignment. First of all, your internal energy is balanced, like you're managing your emotions, like you are in command of your emotions. But then on a larger scale, you've come into alignment with the highest good. And so it's like you've become part of something bigger than yourself. You are, it's sort of like, what just came to me as an analogy is like a little drop of water, you know, by itself. It's not, you know, necessarily a force to be reckoned with, but a drop of water that's like in the ocean, that's powerful. So it's kind of like that. That's kind of the energy that I'm getting. You know, like a wave, an ocean wave can overcome a lot. And that's the kind of momentum that I'm seeing in this right here. So yeah, underneath that we have the Strength card. We have this confusion, we have this opportunity and this stability. So it's almost like there's this chaos, but there's all these like really strong, it's interesting because they're all yellow and the chaos is blue. But this is going to be enough to sort of like stabilize this. That's kind of what I'm getting. And then when I looked under this, oh my gosh. Yeah, so we have this super toxic energy. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Okay. This is really climactic, and there have been like some really dramatic readings leading up to this about like exposing this super like there's this one where this like super toxic energy like kind of it's been getting exposed, and you know, so that's this. But this is like a turning point. This person has the world in the palm of their hands. They've got their back to this toxic energy. They're just like moving forward, like I'm done with this, like we're moving forward. Like this person is taking control of the situation, you know. It's just like there's going to be winners and there's going to be losers, and it's just kind of like way beyond time to, there's another reading called Clean Up the Mess. It's just way past time to clean up the mess. So it's just like we just gotta seize control of the situation. There's a message coming in. There's this new partnership, this new stability that's gonna disrupt whatever this toxicity is. And this is kind of the moment, like, it's sort of like with every good, like, epic movie, you know, like there's a fight between good and evil. Like you're gonna have to, you know, like confront whatever this is. It's kind of like what just came to me is like blowing up the Death Star. Like that's what's going on here. This is like blowing up the Death Star. So this is like super dramatic. Super dramatic. Okay, I'm gonna go to the Prism Oracle. So we got mystery and space. Wow. So space, like this, symbolizes like the ether. It's sort of the realm of pure consciousness, of God, of the unknown, you know, mystery. Like there's a lot that happens in the world that we don't understand, and that's kind of the ether. I was listening to this sort of sound healing class last night, and the teacher was talking about ether. I mean, the way she put it was really profound. Like, I feel like I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it because I can't exactly remember it. But she was talking about how, you know, the ether is the realm of pure consciousness, of, you know, unlimited possibility, of oneness, of where we are all connected, and, you know, of God, you know, like energy materializes in this physical form, but like in the world of energy, like anything is possible, you know. And so it's almost like there's this like unknown force that's like acting on this situation, is what I just got. It's sort of like the Force in Star Wars. Like the Force will be with you. Like if you're on the side of good, you know, which kind of speaks to the whole ocean analogy that I was talking to. Like a little drop on its own isn't powerful, but if you have the whole ocean, if you're in alignment with the whole ocean, then that's a different story. So it's like if you're in alignment with the whole ether, like you're gonna, it's like deliverance from this situation. And it's kind of like Moses parting the Red Seas, which that was a reading from a long time ago. But actually, this is bringing me to this story of this crazy thing that happened the other day, which I think really speaks to this situation. Oh my gosh, when I picked up these cards, we got trust and movement. Like, trust, things are going to work out. They are changing. And then we got surrender and we got ghost. So, oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, this is really, okay, so this is a crazy story, but, and I mean, this reading is going to get really long. I feel like if I tell this whole story, but I had this crazy full circle moment the other day, and it's like 13 years ago or something, I was in a really bad car crash, and it was like this, I was crossing, there's like a bridge that goes over this highway, so there's this the off ramp to the highway, and there was this like young kid who was like exiting off the highway, and I had a green light, you know, and I was kind of crossing, but this kid was coming off the highway, you know, and like was speeding and didn't see the red light and just like ran through the red light and totally T-boned me. And it was a really extreme accident that like totally changed the course of my life. And you know, I had to get pulled out of the car in an ambulance. Like I couldn't walk for a long time, you know, I mean, it was a big deal. Well, what's crazy is that almost the identical thing just happened like a couple days ago, where it's the same thing. I was crossing it was under the highway this time, and this kid was coming off the highway, didn't see, you know, the red light, and was like, this kid was like literally going 100 miles an hour. Like it was so fast, I didn't even see it coming. It was like the exact same thing. And I mean, he hit my car hard, but like he didn't T-bone me, he just like clipped the bumper. And the reason why he like didn't hit me, this is so crazy, is because there was this helicopter, like literally a helicopter came out of the sky and was like chasing this guy, and he just like swerved out of my way. Just like, and there was this witness, and he was just like, oh my God, that car was going 100 miles an hour, like it was being chased by this police helicopter. Like there was probably a drug deal. Like he was freaking out. Well, the police showed up later, and it turns out, like, no, it wasn't a drug deal. It was just a random helicopter that just showed up out of nowhere. and like the reason why this is profound, if anybody has watched this channel very long, you'll know, like, my dad was a helicopter pilot in Vietnam, and he passed away recently, and ever since then, like, I've had these helicopters. It's like I get these signs, and it's like these helicopters, you know. I mean, anyone who's had someone close to them pass away can relate to this phenomenon, you know. So these helicopters, like, were watching over me, and anyways, this helicopter literally came out of the ether, and like I would have died, you know. And so, and it was really full circle, because like there's so many other coincidences, but this is already getting to be a really long story, so I'm just gonna try not to complicate it any further. But the moral of the story is, like, it was just sort of like, it was almost like, you know, like cycles repeat in life. So like I'm coming back around to this cycle again, but it's like this time it was like my dad's like, no, not this time, you know, like he came down, and he like is just like, no, not this time. So it's sort of like I'm like a little drop, but there's this like ocean that's like so much more powerful, that's like, nope, that's not the way you're going, you know. And so yeah, hopefully that made sense. It was kind of a long-winded story, but that's what I'm getting. Okay, so at the bottom we have the Four of Swords. So this, I mean, you can see this butterfly emerging. It's like there's this, I totally got a different message from the Four of Swords than usual, as there's this one sword, like this sword of truth, where this like butterfly is emerging, you know. And then there's these three swords over here, which is like heartbreak. So it's just sort of like the way that you come into alignment with all that is, with the ocean, with everything, is you are in alignment with the truth and the highest good. Like that's what puts you on the right channel. Like it's like tuning the radio frequency. And if you're in alignment with, then it's like the ocean, all that is God, like is gonna help you to blossom, you know. But if you're in alignment with like your ego or greed or some lower emotion, that path leads to heartbreak. So this is totally not the usual message I get with the Four of Swords, but what I'm getting is that these paths are separating. This is a like moment in between worlds, but it's almost like this influence is waning and this influence is like coming forward into more prominence. So like there's like this reckoning, this karmic reckoning, where finally this butterfly who's been just like taking a lot of grief from this perpetrator of this is gonna be allowed to blossom. Oh my gosh, this is like such a crazy message. Okay, so we got the wheel again. So that's like, whoa, this is like profound, life-changing drama, blowing up the Death Star. And then we got the Nine of Swords. So this is fear, anxiety, like being up at night, not being able to sleep. So there's like all this, you know, really intense like energy. But then there's this little butterfly floating in the clouds, which is really strange, because that's like not the usual message that I get with the Nine of Swords either. It's like despite all of this, this little butterfly is like found a way in this craziness. And then we got the Keeper of Wands. So I think this is the Queen in this deck. I'm gonna check. So it's like interesting because we've got this key, we've got the sunflower, and we've got, yeah, this is the Queen. We've got this key, we've got the sunflower, and we got the wands. The sacred expanding spiral of the sunflower seeds align the keeper with the divine and their unique purpose. With courage and insight, they flourish in spirit and channel the comings and goings of their work with competence. As the vision of your destiny becomes clearer, grasp it tight and align every new decision to work with your purpose. Your path is unique and only you hold the key. Wow. Yeah, so it's almost like this person has come into alignment with all that is, with their purpose. Like each of us is put on this earth for a reason. And, you know, like you can lose sight of that if you get derailed by like greed or ego or, you know, lust or, you know, any number of things that can derail people. But if you're like staying in alignment with the ocean, with the highest good, with the truth, with your purpose, it's like a deliverance from this. This butterfly is being delivered because they have this higher purpose. So another story that just came to me is the story of Noah's Ark. You know, Noah, like, he was just like, I'm going to stay in alignment with my purpose. I have like been given this message that I'm supposed to gather 2 of each kind of creature and take them on a boat. And everybody's just like, oh my gosh, this guy's crazy. Like, why is he doing this? You know, but then this big flood comes and it turns out that like he's like way ahead of the game. So it's that kind of energy. Like this person has like gone through it. Like, you know, everyone's been talking about him, gossiping, like giving him grief. You know, people have been like throwing knives at him, but they've just stayed in alignment with it. And it's like, this is the moment where like it's like karma flips, you know. It's just like everything changes, and it's like everyone just figures out like, you know, who's holding what hand. It's like it's kind of like well, this big thing that's been happening this week is like, you know, there was like a couple banks collapsed last week. Well, now it's turning into like this, it's like unraveling this sweater of this like larger problem, you know? So it's like the truth is being revealed, and it's like, you know, like 3 weeks ago, like, you know, if you were being like a small independent business, like it might have seemed like, oh my gosh, like, you want to be part of this bigger thing, you know, but it turns out like this bigger thing that seemed like more stable, like might not be, you know. That's the kind of energy. It's just like the game's totally being flipped, and the rules, it's like the rules are changing, you know. And so who's on top, like that's changing too. It's like that kind of shift, like it's that profound. And it's like, it's mysterious. Like it's more powerful than what we can understand. I mean, it's God, you know. That's the kind of energy that I'm getting. Okay. So we got 2 of Pentacles. So there's like a big change that's in process. And that came right under the wheel. So yeah, basically what I'm getting from this is the rules have changed. Like, dust hasn't settled from it yet. Like, we're still figuring out what that means, but undeniably the rules have changed. We've got the 5 of Swords, which is right under the 9 of Swords. So, you know, again, there's going to be winners and there's going to be losers. And, you know, it all boils down to, like, if you're in alignment with the ocean or if you're going to be a drop, you know, like, that's kind of how it is. It's just like that, cut and dry, you know. We have the 2 of Cups, which came right under this Queen of Wands. So it's like, it's almost like the people who are in alignment with their purpose or with the highest good or with the truth, or it's like they're gonna find each other. They're gonna work together towards making the world a better place, you know, towards like harmony and progress, you know. And then we have Revolution. Like, you say you want a revolution, well, you know, we all want to change the world. That's where we're at. Like, oh my gosh, this is really, really huge. Like, it's like, I'm not really seeing so much necessarily how things are changing, but, and I think people right now, it's just the shock is starting to settle in that it is changing. And like, the rules are changing, the people who are in charge are changing, like everything's changing. And like right now, like it's like I think a lot of people who've been maybe really comfortable with being like on top of everything, like might be really acting out, you know. But it's gonna open up a bunch of opportunities and for different people. And so it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Okay, I'm gonna go to the angels and ancestors and get a final message from our angels and ancestors, because you know they're part of this mysterious world of ether that's kind of like driving all this change. Okay, so all right, this is what the advice we're getting. Medicine Mother, honor your inner knowing. And we got Peacekeeper, let go of the need to be right. So again, that's the whole ego thing. Like, your ego is not going to serve you right now. Like, the rules are just changing and you're just going to have to flow and roll with it. Like, this is a moment to like roll with it. So if you're like insisting on having things your way or being right, like the ocean is just gonna like roll right over you, you know. Like, the best thing that you can do right now is like trust your inner guidance, because that's tuned into this, that's tuned into God, oneness, all that is. And like, this is a moment to really get in touch with that, because that's basically your best path forward from here. So yeah, blowing up the Death Star. Here we go.